Welcome back to my channel, everyone. Step-by-step electrolytic silver cell build. The first piece we need is this stainless steel bowl. It's 9.5 inches outside diameter, 9.25, and then the height of this thing is about 5.5 inches, and it needs to be this particular shape in order to achieve the correct dimensions between the cathode, which is what this bowl will be, and the anode that sits up here on top of it. The next item that we need is a cutting board. I picked this up at the thrift store for $4. It's 16 inches long, 12 inches wide, and let's see here, this is important, it's about 3/8 of an inch thick. Now what I'll do is I'll set our stainless bowl, just kind of eyeball it and get it centered up on top of this cutting board. Then I'm going to take a marker and draw a circle all the way around it. We're going to measure about 1.5 inches from this line to the square, and I'm going to draw a line here. I want to find the center of this circle. So we've got, it's 9 3/4. So we're going to use half of 3/4 is 3/8. Half of 9 is 4.5. So we want 1/2 inch is 4/8 plus 3/8. So we want 4 7/8 inch. But right there should be the center. I'm just kind of measure it on this side, just to kind of get a center point on our drawing here. Doesn't have to be super accurate. I just want a point that I can use to measure where our anode filter basket is going to set on the top of the silver cell. This is the third thing that we need. I use these Rubbermaid 0.5 cup little food cups, and I got these at the grocery store. I've got my little center mark here. I'm just going to eyeball it through the bottom of this cup, sitting right over the top of it, and then we're going to draw an outline of the cup. Got the cutting board clamped to the side of my workbench. Just going to drill a hole down through here now. Now we're going to take a jigsaw. I've already started to make sure this is going to work properly, and cut out the center of this piece that our anode filter basket is going to set down into. That took about 5 minutes. Doesn't have to be perfect. We just want to make sure that our anode filter cup is going to sit down in there, and it does. The next thing we need is some bamboo skewers, and what we'll do is we'll mark off 4 little holes around the outside of the silver cell bowl. And what this will do is this will allow us to locate the top over the bowl, because we're going to have little bamboo shoots coming up through these little holes, and it will locate this top on the center of the top of our bowl. I'm going to drill a hole that's just a touch smaller. That's the drill bit. 2.65 millimeter. This is 2.9 millimeters on each of these. 2.9. And what we'll do is drill a hole that's a little bit smaller than the diameter of our bamboo skewers to create an interference fit. Now we'll give us a test fit here. As you can see, it doesn't just slip down in there. That's what we want. What we'll do is trim it off and pound it down in there so it stays firmly in place in the hole. But first, before we do that, we need to make this cut right here. Here's the lid to the silver cell. We'll put it on like this. And now what we're going to do is I'm going to cut these bamboo skewers about 1.5 inches or so. Pull these up and drive these through the holes that we drilled. Now I'm going to trim away the excess bamboo material. So far we're looking good. This is the anode filter basket that fits down on the top here. And the cathode bowl is a stainless steel bowl. We'll put the top on top of that. And now what we're going to do is prepare the anode filter basket. I'll take the cup. What I'll do is I'll drill some holes in the bottom. Now I'll trim away all this excess material. All right, now we'll prepare the lid. What we do for that is we just take a sharp knife and I go around the outer edge of this thing. I and just cut the center. I will use this as the retainer ring to snap and hold our anode filter in place. Got the hole cut in it. We've got the guide posts to centrally locate it over the top of the stainless bowl. We've got our anode filter basket prepared. Now what we need to do is I've got some stainless steel hose clamps, and we're going to use these clamps to hold the cathode connection to the cell. What I do is I just use 2 clamps tied together like this, because I couldn't find one big enough to go around the entire cell. So we're just going to tie these 2 together. And what we'll do is pull this up here now. And then I'll have to adjust this, but then I'll connect the stainless steel hose clamps, and we'll use that to hold the cathode connection to the stainless steel bowl. The little clamp is, where's he go to, about 12 inches long. The larger clamp is going to be about 20 inches long. And what we'll do is just keep adjusting this until it fits snugly around the stainless steel bowl. Next, we need a piece of copper, and this piece of copper is about, let's see, what is it? It's 10 inches by 6 inches. I bought this on eBay. This is going to be like hard to cut because it's so thick. This is 62 thousandths thick copper strap. This is 62 thousandths copper strap or copper sheet. 32 thousandths would be much better, easier to cut. Now we're going to drill a hole for our cathode connection. Here's our copper cathode connection. And now what we've got here is a brass bolt that doesn't fit, so we're going to have to drill a hole out a little bit bigger. Let me drill this hole out a little bit. Now the bolt should fit in there like so with a wing nut. So we've got a 1/4-20 brass bolt and wing nut. Let me trim this up now. Square it off on this side. It doesn't need to be this thick. This is 62 thousandths thickness, and the other silver cell has a 32 thousandths thickness copper connection. So this is all it had. I'll take this off out of here, and I'll clamp this. Let's see how we're going to do this. Let's clamp it like this. And then we'll bend this. Let's see. Like this. There we go. Now let's bend the copper so that it conforms to the contour of the stainless steel cathode bowl. Like that. Let me loosen this thing up now. Connection up under like that. See that? There we go. And then tighten this up. Now we're going to put our bolt in. Screw the wing nut on. And we have a cathode connection. Now what I've got is some 10 gauge 10 AWG coated solid copper wire, and I'm going to roll off about 4 foot of this. Now we're going to bare the ends of these wires. Let's make a little loop for the connection that goes down to the stainless bowl that we just made. There we go. We've got the brass bolt that fits through there, and we use that to make our cathode connection for the silver cell. All right, item number 8, 10 AWG copper wire. I've got another 4-foot section of copper wire, and I put a loop on the end of it so we can attach it to the power supply. On this other end, we take some of this material off. And now what we'll do is form a little loop down here and then bend it at a 90-degree angle. Now what we're going to do is we're going to cast a pure silver bar around this piece of copper wire to create an anode electrode bar connection. So I've got two 4-foot sections. Now what we'll do is measure out about 2.5 troy ounces of some pure silver crystal, and we'll use this to cast our anode bar. Alright, we'll take our pure silver crystal out to the melt table, melt this up, and cast the copper wire into the bar. Now what we'll do is add the silver to a melt dish, and we'll start melting that. But first, let's move the I've got the copper wire suspended in the cavity of this mold. I'm going to move it out of the way right now, and we're going to start heating the mold, and we'll melt the pure silver crystal now. Alright, this is the tricky part. I've got to pour the molten silver onto the copper piece as it's suspended in the cavity, and I've got to do it kind of quickly so that the copper don't melt. Here we go. Boom. Let's see if we can get this out of here now. I just got it clamped in. Take this out and submerge it in some water here. Cool it off. And this will be our anode bar with the copper wire cast right into the bar. I'm going to make a couple more, and we're going to put these up for sale on my eBay site. Let's make number 3. Here's our 3 anode electrode bars that we've just created by casting the 10 gauge copper wire right in to pure silver. I like using pure silver because it melts and is easy to work with. I'm going to put this down as a separate item. The anode electrode bar. And what we'll do is we'll offer these. I'm going to use one for my second silver cell that we're building today, and these other 2 we'll offer these for sale on my eBay site. They last about a year. I've had this one in service now for about a year. You can see that some of it's corroded away on the end there as it touches the material here that's soaked with electrolyte. It actually starts to dissolve. So if you keep that thing out of the electrolyte, it'll stay intact. Right down here, we're getting a little bit of bimetallic corrosion right there. And eventually this thing will break, and I'll have to replace this. But this one's been in service for about a year now. I think we're about ready to start assembling silver cell number 2. Here's our cathode, our stainless steel bowl that we'll use as the cathode. Got the copper cathode connection fixed to it. Here's our cover that we're going to put on here. We'll set that on there. And then we'll put the anode basket in here. Here's another component that we're going to need. This is the power supply for the electrolytic silver cell. I got this on eBay. It's about 90 bucks, something like that. It's 30 amps. No, wait a minute. 30 volts, 10 amps power supply. So this is item number 10. This is a 30 volt, 10 amp regulated power supply. DC, direct current. I think we'll put the power supply up here right next to our other power supply for silver cell number 1 that's currently in operation. Silver cell number 1 has been running for about 2 days now. Let's look down in here and see what kind of crystal growth we've got going on. That looks awesome. This is my silver cell electrolyte. This is silver nitrate that I've created by dissolving pure silver crystal in nitric acid. And what we'll be using is a solution that is 150 grams per liter of pure silver. So now let's go ahead and filter the electrolyte. I prepared this in advance. This took about 6 hours to make this electrolyte. And there's like 900 grams of pure silver in here. Well, actually it was 1,000. I'm counting the what's left on the bottom as 100 grams. So we're going to filter this now. About 2/3 of it. And that should give us 600 grams of pure silver dissolved in this solution. You'll notice that the pure silver nitrate is clear and colorless. Alright, we've got our electrolyte filtered. As you can see, there's nothing in the filter. It's high purity silver that we've dissolved in nitric acid. So let's take this over here now to the new silver cell that we're building. And I'm going to add this 600 grams of pure silver dissolved in this liquid. I'm going to add it to our new silver cell. Here we go. Now what we'll do is add distilled water to within 1/2 inch of the top of the silver cell. So what we've got in here is 600 grams of pure silver in 3.5 liters of liquid, which should give us a concentration of about 150 grams per liter concentration for our electrolyte. I'm installing the cover now, and what we'll do is cover this up so nothing falls down in there. I've got our cathode connection. We'll hook that to the negative side of our power supply. Now we'll make up the cathode connection on the cell. A little bit of a design flaw here. Got to kind of pick it up and move it. So you may have to trim some of that cover off just a little bit. Now we'll connect our anode electrode bar. I just pull this out to make like a little spring out of this. And then I'll connect to the power supply up here. Now we'll make up the anode filter. I use these vacuum cleaner Dacron filter bags. I get them at Ace Hardware. And so what we'll do is take it out. I turn it inside out. There's a label in here. You want to get that out of the way. We're going to take our anode filter basket, pull the retaining ring off, and we'll stick this down in here to shove it all the way down into the bottom so it bottoms out real good, so we make good connection. There we go. I'll trim this excess material away. Number 12 on the list is the Craftsman vacuum cleaner Dacron filter bags. I'm going to fill this up with some impure silver now. Down in here with a spoon and fill up the anode basket. That should do it. Let's go ahead and insert the anode basket down into the electrolyte. We'll cover this opening up so nothing falls down in here. Here we go. I'm going to put the anode bar on top of our impure silver. I'll straighten that out in a minute. There we go. And now we're going to energize the power supply for silver cell number 2. Just the volts. I need 3.5 volts. 3.6, that's good enough. So now we've got two electrolytic silver cells in operation. This will double my capacity. I was harvesting about 100 troy ounces of pure silver every month, and now we should be cranking out about 200 troy ounces of pure silver every month. So here's a review of all the material that we used to build the silver cell. The stainless bowl, probably 10 bucks. Cutting board, I paid $4 for it at the thrift store. Rubbermaid food containers, about 5 bucks maybe. Bamboo skewers, $2. Stainless steel hose clamps, probably, let's say 15. The copper strap that I bought was about, I think it was $35. Brass nut and bolt was about $7. Copper wire, I say that's $10. Anode electrode bar, I made that myself. I don't have a price on that. The regulated power supply, let's say it was about $90. 150 grams of pure silver. 150 grams is about 5 troy ounces of silver, so 120 bucks. And then Craftsman Dacron filter bags, those things are $15 a piece. So add that all up, and that's about what it's going to cost to get the silver cell running initially. We've got both silver cells running now. I've just doubled my output, my monthly output of pure silver. Let's look down in here. This thing's been running now for about an hour. Oh yeah. Look at the pure silver crystal forming down into the silver cell. Beautiful. And let's see what else we got here. I've got the 2 anode electrode bars. I'll list these on my eBay site and we'll sell these. And I guess this will conclude the video. I'd like to thank everyone for watching.